Something particular I want to say about it. Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning. Man, I'm all right. Okay, so...
it's Firearms Friday.
It is Firearms Friday.
We're going to do Firearms Friday.
Yes, but I feel like you're going to appreciate this.
But
I know, but before we even get to that, okay?
But loser dude is loser dude.
Look, but before we even get to that, all right, I feel like you'll get a kick out of this. The football player, the one that we kept trying to go and talk about and not find. Okay,
he's good now.
Well, no, I mean, he's still in the hospital. Like, he had a heart attack and had to be resuscitated for 8 minutes solid. Like, it was a bad day.
That's some scary shit.
That was a bad day. I shit you not, though. When he woke up, one of the very first things he asked was, "Did we win?" And I'm like, okay, I can respect the hell out of that. I can respect that.
Yep.
Imagine how disappointed. Actually, we stopped the whole game just for you, bud. Oh, gee. So I had this heart attack for nothing.
Gee, you shouldn't have done that.
Okay, anyhow, so what's
Sergeant Major says we're about to own our own range. Practice makes perfect. Hell yes. I'm getting more and more excited about the prospect of the Lowry farm.
I had a pistol range in another life.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Can't wait. So the other thing that we want to touch on real quick before we get to the DGUs, and I promise we've got some. In fact, I think I've got more than we're going to be able to get to this morning. Dude, McCarthy.
Yeah.
11th straight failure. And we've come to a point now that we're getting some news out of the negotiations. I don't want to see him win. If Kevin McCarthy wins the speakership by a complete capitulation of the GOP. And here's what I mean. So Lauren Boebert did an interview with Michael Knowles last night where she, among many other things, she pointed out that McCarthy's cohorts have said to the Republican holdouts, if you don't get on board, we will withhold committee appointments from you. Which is, just damn.
Well, but it's hardball. It
is hardball.
They're doing the same thing in reverse.
But the other one, and here's where it brings me around to say, if McCarthy wins, if McCarthy wins, then every single representative needs to be voted out because they will all have been utterly compromised. Ro Khanna tweeted, "I'm happy to engage Democrat. I'm happy to engage in a good faith coalition government. Right? Basically, he's saying that he'll get enough Democrats on board to vote for McCarthy if two concessions are made. And that is, the two concessions are that there will be no debate on raising the debt ceiling, and the GOP will surrender subpoena powers.
Oh, the subpoena powers, huh?
Right. So what that means...
I think we know what that means.
Is if McCarthy gets the speakership by converting enough Democrats to make the difference, then the House, and more importantly, the entire GOP, will be functionally complicit in the obstruction of every investigation that needs to happen. They will be complicit in the obstruction of the laptop investigation, the obstruction of any further investigation into the Epstein situation and the release of Ghislaine Maxwell's client lists. They will be complicit in making sure that the summer of love never gets another peak. They'll be complicit in guaranteeing that there will be no consequences for the obvious coup that was conducted. There will be no consequences for the obvious witch hunt that was the January 6th committee. And please believe, there need to be severious? Look,
it's
you know what? I like it. I'm going to roll with it. It's right up there with conspiraling. there need to be some severious consequences for everyone on the January 6th committee, right? That shit ain't right. Oh, and Rob Hova points out,
he beat me to it. I was going to say
Day. That's excellent. Thanks, Rob. It's always a chuckle when somebody steals one of our thunders. So that's where we are on Speaker McCarthy.
Well, I don't think he's going to be Speaker. Like, I think at this point,
just stop trying to make Speaker McCarthy a thing.
Fetch is not a thing. Right. I got you. Look, he's not going to be Speaker, and all this where everybody is trying to capitalize on the situation and take advantage of it. Like, I still think this is the process. Like, the founders designed it this way on purpose, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the smaller your minority is, the more proportional power your minority has. The founders did not want a simple majority to be able to enact tyranny on the minority. So, whatever.
This is the last thing I'll say on it, and then we'll move on to DGUs. One of the things that the primary thing that the GOP holdouts were looking for was to get rid of the Nancy Pelosi rule that prevented individual members of the House from being able to call a vote to vacate the speaker. Right? Basically, since Nancy Pelosi changed the rules, you have to be one of the leadership positions. So there's a very small number of people that can call for what amounts to a vote of no confidence, a vote to vacate the speaker and replace the Speaker of the House. Here's what I want you to understand about this. When they try to paint it like it's some radical move that these GOP holdouts are insisting that any representative of the House should be able to call for that vote. Before you let them convince you that this is some radical right-wing maneuver, let me just remind you, that is literally the way that it worked until Nancy Pelosi changed that rule while she was the speaker. This would be akin to a president of the United States being elected, and then his first executive order is impeachment is no longer a thing. So, y'all keep all that in mind as all this is going forward. If McCarthy wins, this will be a gross capitulation to basically the Chinese Communist Party controlled Democrat National Committee.
Yeah. Oh, And yeah, I'm with Pitt Danny. Free all January 6th. You know, there are still people in jail.
Yeah.
Like, at what point do you just let them out with credit for time served?
There are still people in jail who have not yet had a day in court.
They've had first appearance.
Not all of them.
2 years without first appearance?
Correct.
Who? Come on, man. 2 years without first appearance?
Yep. And it's all been done under the guise of COVID problems. You know, oh, our docket's too full because of COVID, this, and that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Some of them spent the entire first year in solitary as a precautionary measure against COVID.
I understand.
That stuff is, oh, yeah.
But not even first appearance virtually. Like,
Yeah,
this is not
go look into this. It's I mean, we're talking about the J6 prisoners. We're talking about gross violations of explicit constitutional rights. It's an absolute shit. That's why I said everybody involved in the J6 committee thing.
Can you tell me one person that this applies, or is this just kind of one of those nebulous?
No, I can't name an individual off the top of my head right now, but.
Anyhow, okay, that would be pretty.
Are you shocked by the idea that the government would violate your rights?
No, I'm not shocked by the idea that the government would violate your rights at all. But to deny somebody their first appearance is. I mean, these people have friends and family, and we're talking about like slam dunk cases for lawyers. Like, they haven't even talked to a judge. Literally, first appearance can be they spend 5 minutes with a judge. The judge reads their charges and then says,
I understand what first appearance is.
And then says, based on the nature of your charges, we're going to deny you bond at this time, and it's going to take at least 90 days for us to set you up a new calendar day. They could literally take 5 minutes and throw these people away. So if they haven't had first appearance yet, that's pretty shocking. Like, that's one of those things that's
you have to remember, like Pitt Danny's pointing out, some of the people that are being held who are incarcerated currently are being held as witnesses, right? So, you know, this is a deep rabbit hole to go down, and I promise these guys DGUs. The stuff that's going on with the J6 detainees, the political prisoners of the Democrat National Committee and the Biden administration. Yeah, no, don't suddenly get surprised that the Biden administration, that the Democrat Party, that the Chinese communist-controlled left is engaged in the active violation of individual human rights. Look, it just kind of blew my mind. So, all right, so I normally go first. You want to go first this time? Sure.
All right, let's do this.
You afraid this one's going to be sucky?
No, I just thought we'd do something a little different. That's all.
Lubbock Camp, everything Lubbock.com. Clovis, New Mexico. What the hell does that have to do with Lubbock? Anyway, a man who was seriously injured in a New Year's Day shooting in Clovis has died, officials said. The 9th Judicial District Attorney's Office said the shooter, Ian Michael Downs, 30, of Littlefield, Texas, acted in self-defense. According to a press release Thursday evening, Downs was initially charged with aggravated battery, and the charge was changed to murder when the victim, Oscar Trujillo, 28, passed away. The DA's office said law enforcement were able to collect video from doorbell cameras and other security cameras during the investigation. No camera captured the entire event, officials said, but investigators were able to confirm Downs' side of the story after reviewing multiple videos. With this new evidence, the district attorney's office filed the dismissal on Wednesday. The Major Crimes Unit and Clovis Police Department are still investigating. Charges could still be filed in the future, according to the DA's office.
Not if they've dismissed. I mean, yeah, they could, but like, once the district attorney voluntarily lets something go, like, that's. I mean, district attorneys hold a shocking amount of power.
They do. They really do.
It's why it's so important that they are people of the highest caliber, because, like, he was charged with aggravated battery, and then the charge was changed to murder. Like, so he was charged with murder, right? He was charged with do 30 years in prison at a minimum.
Yeah, do 30 years or die.
Right? So, well, that's why I said 30 years in prison at a minimum, right? So he was charged with something that would get him decades behind bars. And then, man, no camera captured the entire event, but investigators were able to confirm downside of the story after reviewing multiple videos. Okay, I'm going to make a couple of assumptions. Tell me if
because it doesn't tell us what downside of the story was.
Okay, well, look, I'm going to make a couple of assumptions, right? This happened in somebody's home.
Right.
Right? So this was either Downs' property or Downs had been invited onto the property. So Downs was there legally. All right? And we've talked before, I hate those fucking Ring doorbell cameras so much. They're so obnoxious. Anyhow, but you know when somebody's got one, right? Like the cameras and like when you walk up to it, like most of them are even cute. Like some of them whistle at you, or they'll say camera recording. Yeah, exactly. And whenever the camera flips on, if they've got one like, you know, on the side of it literally flips on. It turns blue. It lets you know I'm recording you, right? So I'm not saying that there are not people out there that are not psychopathic enough to commit a murder on camera, because of course there are. But you come to a certain point where it's like, okay, I know I'm being recorded. You know, it's one of those things where I'm going to be on my best behavior. That's right. That's right. I'm going to be on my best behavior because this is being recorded. So the fact that this guy was charged with murder in the first place it's a little scary. Like, you could hold somebody, like they could have just held him on the aggravated battery charge, which in and of itself is a serious charge. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, the aggravated battery is not the one you want. So it's just this is creepy, but I think this was always going to be self-defense, and I guess good on this DA for filing for the dismissal, because based on the way this is written, it looks like there were steps in the chain. Like when this was handed to the DA, like the DA has to put a certain amount of trust in the police officers, otherwise they can't do their job. Right. So when this was handed to the DA, obviously what was handed to him was written in such a way that says, man, this looks like murder. And so the DA said, okay, this looks like murder. And then the stuff from the cameras came out, and the DA went, this doesn't look like murder. Let's file for a dismissal.
Rob asks, I want to know why that was actually in there. Basically, they arrested the guy for aggravated battery, and then the other guy died after the initial guy had been arrested for aggravated battery. So that's when they upgraded the charge to murder.
Yeah, in most states, battery is...
There's just not enough information in that story to really get into it. So let's move on. Let's get to another one. This one's yours, my brother.
All right. Grinnell police apartment shooting was self-defense. Here we go. Police in Grinnell say a shooting in an apartment complex was self-defense. Grinnell police say that Cody McCall and Logan Moline broke into the victim's apartment on December 29th and attacked him. Criminal complaints show McCall tried to stab the victim in the throat with a kitchen knife. That's when the victim shot McCall twice in the chest. McCall and Moline ran from the apartment. Police say they captured Moline quickly after he slipped on some ice. When police interviewed McCall in the hospital, he told them he attacked the victim to keep him from using his gun. McCall and Moline face charges of assault and burglary. Okay, so clean shoot is squeaky clean.
Yes.
What happened? Well, I tried to stab him because I thought he was going to pull his gun on me. Okay. Turns out you were a prophet. You were Nostradamus. Police say, wait, does it just repeat? Yeah. It just repeats.
It does.
I thought there was more.
Okay, I guess that's the story.
And then he slipped on some ice.
It's a short story because clean shoot is squeaky clean. Let's roll with that.
So, wait, scroll. We can't say.
Hey, we have some Cyrillic in the chat. I don't read Cyrillic, but Privyet Dovidich.
Right.
Agdila.
So, move it down for me just a bit. I just want to see if we can see there.
Oh, yeah. Winners.
Yeah, you think drugs were involved? I feel like drugs might have been involved.
I feel like drugs might have been involved.
Right. So.
Okay, we got 10 more minutes. Woman shoots man inside moving vehicle. Man arrested. Anderson County deputies. At the time of the shooting in Anderson County, a man is facing domestic violence charges after he was shot. Deputies say the shooting happened yesterday afternoon on Fire Tower Road in Piedmont. We're told John Stephen Boyd was riding with a woman and physically and verbally assaulted her in the car. That's what deputies say. And they say after he threatened her, she shot. The writing on this is atrocious. Woman shoots man inside moving vehicle. Man arrested. An upstate man hospitalized after he was shot by a woman inside a moving vehicle has been arrested. Officials said Wednesday Shale Ramian with the Anderson County Sheriff's Department said John Stephen Boyd is charged with first-degree domestic violence after the shooting on Tuesday afternoon on Fire Tower Road in Piedmont. They said Boyd was driving with a woman and physically and verbally assaulted her in the moving vehicle. Remian said the man then pulled a weapon on the woman. After Boyd threatened the victim, she acted in self-defense and shot the man inside the moving car. No other details about the shooting were released. Boyd was released from the hospital Wednesday evening and was taken to Anderson County Detention Center. An update. Man hospitalized after he was shot by a woman inside moving vehicle has been arrested.
Yeah, this is the same thing again.
Okay, it's just the same thing. Maybe we need to start scrolling down to the second half and read it line by line. It might be more bite-sizable. Okay. Let me get back up here real quick. This headline. Woman shoots man inside moving vehicle. Man arrested. That headline, it almost sounds like she's standing on the street corner. She's going, boom, get him.
Tag.
You're it.
Okay. So this is a good time to reiterate. Don't tell me you're a feminist unless you're packing.
Right.
Like, I don't want to hear it. All right. And I still...
In fact, if you're a woman and you don't carry a firearm, you should be opposed to women's suffrage.
You could say if you're a woman and you carry a firearm, you could still be opposed to women's suffrage. But that's a whole separate conversation. It'll run off about half of our viewership. So anyhow, okay. So a couple of things. One, don't say you're a feminist and then you don't pack. But then two, I couldn't help but read that story, and it's probably exactly as it was written. Okay? Probably exactly as it was written. However, can you envision a scenario where the woman's actually the one who's guilty of domestic violence, and because of the world we live in and the perceptions of the world that we live in and everything, after getting shot over a fight he didn't start, now the guy's charged with probably multiple felonies?
Right up until you said after being shot in a fight he didn't start, I was about to say, yes, I can think of several direct actual examples, not hypotheticals, within my direct personal knowledge.
So, and look, and I'm not saying that this guy is innocent. I mean, it probably is exactly as it happened. This is probably self-defense on the woman's part, but it's the two of them in a car alone, and he verbally assaulted her. Verbal assault. I think that's the thing that is like, kicking off in my mind, like, he verbally assault somebody. No, I know the technical definition of verbal assault.
I'll tell you how he verbally assaulted her. He probably said, "Damn it, I know how to get home, woman."
See, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Okay. Hey, your mom says, I don't carry, I take my bodyguard. Yes, Ma, but I've never heard you spit some feminist bullshit, so you're covered.
And in fairness, your bodyguard is a war-wizened armed soldier, so
Anyhow, so
the bodyguards my mother has around her are bodyguards with body counts. I think she's gonna be all right.
okay, here we go.
So is it my turn?
No, it's my turn. You just read the last one.
Fine.
The Madison County District Attorney has declined to prosecute the person accused in a fatal Triana shooting, according to authorities. The Madison County Sheriff's Office confirmed with News 19 that the DA ruled the incident was self-defense. Authorities said on April 5th, 2022, the shooting broke out in front of the home on Evan Lane around 3:15 p.m. One man, 47-year-old Jason Torrey Evan, had been shot several times and was killed. HMZ officials confirmed that a woman with a gunshot wound was later picked up by their crews at a home on Record Street. She was taken to Huntsville Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. A neighbor who wished to remain anonymous said that the woman had allegedly tried to escape the gunfire. From my understanding, I don't know who she is, but they said she laid on the ground just to protect herself from them steady shooting at her. Woo! They was steady shooting at her. They done been new.
Who got shot?
Another neighbor said they rushed to the scene after getting a phone call from a family member who told him a man that he knew had collapsed in the yard. A couple of females got to hollering, and we ran around the side of the house and found that man's body. It was a kind of eye-opening because it's somebody that you know, and just to see him lose his life over something just senseless as somebody's just riding by shooting, the neighbor said. Evidence from the case was presented to a Madison County grand jury, which concluded the death was a result of self-defense.
Did I miss something?
Yeah. Dude, we might have to go back to previewing these before we
might have to go back and reread this one because it kind of sounds like I must have missed something because it sure sounds like the Madison County grand jury just ruled a drive-by to be self-defense.
Well, okay, you're riding down the road and somebody points a gun at you and you return fire with your gun. Like, that's not a drive-by in the sense of, like gang crime, but I don't know, this just based on the the grammarification of the people quoted in this article, this looks
the
like
cataclysmic apostrophe that was this particular grammatical apocalypse.
Right. So it could just be that this is one of those things where, like, I mean, this is like the hood version of fuck around and find out, like picked a fight with the wrong one, took it too far. Because if the grand jury is going to say that it's self-defense, there's a piece of evidence here that is not immediately obvious to us, especially if there was multiple I assume that's what a steady shooting was. Right? So I'm just going to assume if that's what that was, that yeah, this is there's a piece of evidence here that we're not aware of, because a bystander got tagged, another person was killed. There's no way that there's multiple casualties, and there's not some pretty crystal clear evidence here that this was self-defense. So anyhow,
yeah, that's okay. Well, it is Friday. It is 0800. Up and at 'em. Get out there and get her done, but do it safe. we're going into the weekend. This is the first weekend of the new year. I would probably expect this weekend to be a generally mellow, calm, safe weekend because most of the rowdy rascals spent all the damn paychecks on liquor last weekend. And so clap back into a standing ovation. Yeah. Get it, Sergeant Major. Get it.
Okay.
Oh, that reminds me. I recently joined a Discord server entirely peopled with DLI grads that I'll have to get the Smudge invited into, because between him and Sunnydale Hyde, I bet we'll have some real funny chit chats. All right.
So happy January 6th.
Happy Insurrection Day. Go thee out into that brave world, my loving fans, girded against the evils that beset you. Don't fry bacon naked and don't drive drink. We love you, and we will see you.
Do you think McCarthy fails again today?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Rob says we should get a Discord. You know what? I might make that happen. I might just make that happen. We'll see about that.
All right.
Y'all be safe, and we'll see you on Monday.